All right. If you're surprised to see my face, you would be correct to do so because I am not Captain Jack. But don't worry. Don't worry. We're gonna give you a soft landing. All right. I'm Raider Transplant. My name is Angelo, and I'll be helping out Captain Jack along with my buddy Bishop AJ, who I'm bringing on right now to the stage. Bishop AJ is now with us. So we're trying to give him a soft landing, Bishop, because we don't want everybody panicking thinking Captain Jack left the Captain Jack show. So why don't you fill everyone in a little bit, AJ? What's going on with you and Captain Jack and everything else on what we're going to be doing?
Yeah, my good salty brother. He's a bit on a hiatus, going to class right now. So during this time, we're going to be conducting his show and filling in for the great Captain Jack. And it's a pleasure for us to be on with you guys tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. But again, without shocking you guys all, because this would be a complete shock, we're bringing in the man himself. So here he is, Captain Jack, just so that you can ease the viewers and let them know it's all good. Nothing's really changing. This is just a little substitution, period.
Yeah, I don't know, man. For those people in the sports world who know who Wally Pipp was, if you don't know who Wally Pipp was the Yankees' first baseman that preceded Lou Gehrig. And when Wally Pipp got out of the lineup, Lou Gehrig went on to have, 3,100 and something consecutive games. And people would say, like, who the hell is Wally Pipp? But see, that's the trivia question. So I might be Wally Pipped by this crew and remember, on camera, it's opposite of what you're looking at. So if you're pointing, you go opposite of what you normally want to do. So I might be Wally Pipped by this guy. I mean, here's the thing, and I'm hoping it'll turn out well for all the people that are here, is that they'll enjoy your stuff on your level to your ramifications, and then we'll have like individual other shows if I can do it. And if I can't do it, then there's no saying that on nights that I'm not doing a show, you guys have basically, full use of the studio, and I ain't gonna bitch because we are providing entertainment, and I use the royal we are providing entertainment for those that are out there. And it's your views, your format, and everybody knows what my format is. But see, therein lies the difference. Vive la différence is how Raider Transplant, aka Angelo Reyes, and the Bishop AJ Brayhue, how they do things, because it's not me.
Yeah.
Remember, it's not you. It's me.
That's right.
We promise, though, Captain, that we will not besmirch the Captain Jack name, and we'll make sure we keep everything, clean and fun for everyone. I know.
They're not. I know especially that the Bishop will not cuss as much as me.
Right.
I won't cuss at all.
No. And Bishop, I won't cuss either. I'll unless I'm really like.
I may come close, but I won't.
Right. I totally understand.
I tell you what, I had these guys when I threw some Yiddish at them yesterday. They're like, "What?" And I said what the Yiddish was, and they're like, and you could just tell the Bishop was like, "Nah."
Right.
Yeah, we were talking Yiddish, and thank you for that, Captain Jack. I never knew what that meant in Yiddish, and now I do. So
now you
it's
do.
a nice little code word for me now to know. It's
a learning experience. It's
always learning from you, Captain Jack. Yeah. I want to shout out Trash and Dory. Thank you for coming. Matt Marinovich is here tonight, so thank you. I know it's a little bit of a surprise because Captain Jack's not going to do a show during the Super Bowl. Like, that's not going to make sense, right?
Yeah. I'm only here so I won't be fined.
Right. Exactly. But we were going to talk about our final thoughts on the Super Bowl. And I was actually going to bring up, because as you guys know, I'm watching a lot of what's going on in the NFL, and Antonio Pierce said something that fired a lot of us up today, man. It fired us up. I was like, yeah, that's right. So AJ, I'm assuming you heard it. You want to tell everyone exactly what it is that Antonio Pierce said on Media Row today?
Well, Antonio Pierce was being interviewed, and they said to him, well, basically, are you ready? Are you concerned? I'm going to try to massage this one a little bit, but they try to ask him, are you ready to contend with Patrick Mahomes and, the powers that be? And he said, no. In fact, no. They should be contending with us. They should be concerned about us. Because if anything, we just went 3-1 in the division since I took over as interim. Hello, somebody. That was a news flash to the AFC West and the rest of them suckers. Hey, we do matter. And that the road of the division is not going to be going through no Kansas City and through the red, he said. It's going to be coming through us. We ain't never had a coach talk like that.
No, except, well, we're going to go way back to Madden. And even with Madden, it wasn't as, well, okay, yeah, actually it was. It was blatant. It was blatant.
But it wasn't as, I want to say this, it wasn't as
fiery.
It was passionate.
Contentious.
He believes it.
Yeah, he believes it.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I said, Matt would say, hey, yeah, we cheat. What are you going to do about it?
See, yes, that's right. They need to fear us and our defense. You got that right, because defense wins championships. And see, there's something about this guy. He reminds me of the 7-Eleven dude with the hoodie, as I'm going to get my Slurpee, and I see him with the classic. And I say, hey, man, hey, what you think? We're coming. That's AP.
Yeah.
That's AP in Compton. That's AP from Compton. People don't get it. He'll say it on TV. He don't care.
Yes. Yeah. No, they're getting
it from Mark Davis.
Yep.
And there's something I really like. There's something I really like about this, because this just sent a message up to the front office of the GM. You might have came from, but you with us now.
Right.
And this is how we get down. This is how we do business. This is how it's going to be conducted.
Right.
This ain't going to be the regular run of the mill. No, I really believe they're going to go get them a quarterback.
They might. I'll tell you guys, like when I heard AP doing it, it made me feel like, no, I own this territory. The West is my territory. And it felt so convincing. Captain Jack, they sliced me in half, and it's not like I can spring up anymore like I used to when I was training pro fighters, but he gave me that little jump back up, like right before we're about to get into the main event of the cage or the ring. Man, he made me feel like that. I was like, that's right. That's right, coach. So AP can definitely motivate everybody. And I like that he's been consistent this week at Media Row, where you can tell he's not getting Hollywood on us. He's just being himself. And and I think it's now that everybody's feeling him. They're feeling him, right? Every answer doesn't even seem like it was rehearsed. It's just his answer.
It spoke to my spine. I was like, he finally said what we feel. Damn it. It's our time. And I just want to allude to something real quick. At the end of the season, and since AP kind of was the interim coach, did you start to see the secondary? I looked at the film they did it to San Diego, Jock Jones. Woo. Sign his ass up.
Oh, no,
sign him.
He signed.
Sign him to the 10-year deal.
He signed.
He signed.
No, he signed already. We got him. We got Jack Jones.
I'm just, please don't let him go.
No. We got him for another. We got him for another 1, if not 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, we signed him on that on the when you can sign somebody from reserves, so it's an automatic 2 years. But they are talking about restructuring it so that he could be a long-term cornerback 1. So you don't worry, Bishop. Like, he's one of the ones that wants to come over and play with AP. So yeah.
But something else kind of crossed my mind today in the past few days. I was thinking about it, and I said, now, if the Raiders actually go and pitch for Jaden Daniels, now, this changes things. Okay? Let's time out. Roll the tape back to when we got Jamarcus Russell from LSU. Remember? He could throw 70 yards, and he could do this, and he's big, and he could run like Aaron McNair. And, oh, he's faster, and he's bigger, and no one can tackle him. Remember, Jack?
Yeah, that it's a nightmare I'm trying to forget.
But
actually, the one thing with Jamarcus, and I think I've told this story before, is when I had a chance to talk to Bruce Gradkowski when he was here in Tampa. And he was a acquaintance of mine that I met at the bar I used to bounce at. And actually, when Bruce got cut from the Bucks and he went to the Rams, and then when he went to the Rams, he got cut, and then he went to the Raiders. He actually texted me. He goes, "Guess where I'm heading?" And I'm like, "Welcome to the silver and black, there, brother." It was good. Anyway, going back to what I was talking about with Bruce, when we signed Jamarcus, and I wanted to know, about him. Bruce introduced me to a gentleman. I don't remember the guy's name. He goes, hey, Chief, because that was my name there at the bar. Said, "Hey, Chief, I want to introduce you to blah, 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 blah." He was with LSU on their coaching staff. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh. I said, cool. I said, yeah, nice to meet you there, blah, 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 blah. I said, "Tell me what you can about Jamarcus Russell." And he didn't have to say a word.
Yep.
This was his reaction. Yeah, that was it. That was it. AJ he was like, man. That was his reaction.
I just want to say this. Imagine if we had AP and this coaching staff with this defense and these coordinators. And do you see what I'm getting at? There's a big difference today in 2024 than when we had Jamarcus Russell. We didn't have no coaches back then to coddle him and groom him and, come on, this is how we're going to do it. This is how you do it. That's why he blew it. And he had a craft about his game that was just the surface being scratched. And if we had the right coach back then, whew, man, I'll tell you, we would have won 4, 5, 6, 7 rings. Okay? We wouldn't have to beg no Randy Moss to catch the ball, and we wouldn't have to ask nobody to play defense when we had Warren Sapp. Wouldn't have had to do that. But now this coach, with these young guys, and he being a former player, and his youth about him, and his poise, and his moxie, and his fortitude, I like it. So if they go get Jaden Daniels and we got to trade, not the house, but a couple of first-round picks and a player, okay.
I want to talk about that a little bit too, because
we haven't had that in a long time.
Well, I mean, I for the last few weeks now, Captain Jack, I'm the one that's been saying we do not trade up. We don't trade up. We have 9 picks, and we want to basically do what we're supposed to, which is surround Max Crosby with enough help so that Max Crosby could do what he does. And I remember even Stuart Schweigert saying to me, it would take a very advanced thinking GM to believe that you don't need to go quarterback versus quarterback. So when you were talking about not Jaden Daniels, but Jamarcus Russell, and you were saying, had we had these coaching staff, it's hard to, hindsight is 2020. Okay, hindsight is 2020, and my whole point when I was on Captain Jack's show is I told him, I said, watching Lamar Jackson on his 6th year, and he just won the MVP again, lose and still not make it to the Super Bowl is every single reason why I don't want to trade up to go get Jaden Daniels or anyone else. Losing capital if you're telling me that the comparable for Jaden Daniels is Lamar Jackson, then I'm going to go back and tell you it's been 6 years, man, and he still hasn't made it to the Super Bowl. And in the meantime, I don't want you to sell me that a quarterback is going to save our franchise. When everybody was saying that's what happened to Jamarcus Russell. He got thrown into the whole Jamarcus Russell is going to be the one that saves us. And instead of it being, you have to remember, man, like these kids are under 25. They haven't even really grown up yet, right? They're getting thrown a lot of money in front of their face. Ego is a real thing.
Right.
I remember what it was like when certain fighters that I could see that they're young, so they got a few knockouts, right, Bishop? And in that industry, as a coach, I would look at them and I'd be like, I wouldn't say anything, but I'd be like, man, you better calm the fuck down. This fight game,
but nobody wanted to fight Mike Tyson.
Everybody has a plan until that first punch to the face.
Right. And you know what? To that point, Captain Jack, that's what happened to Jamarcus Russell. There were games where he showed at the pros that he could do it, but the mental side, you could tell
he didn't have coaching. Because he didn't have coaching.
I understand that. But Bishop, here's my whole point. Are you saying Lamar Jackson doesn't have coaching? No, Lamar Jackson's had a great coach. Has he made it to the Super Bowl yet? No, he has not. So now I'm not saying they didn't have to. My whole point is Lamar Jackson fell to them. He was the 5th quarterback taken in that draft, and nobody wanted Lamar Jackson. Even Mel Kiper was talking about Lamar Jackson should switch positions. He'd be a better wide receiver, blah, 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 blah. So now we're on the reverse side of everybody trying to sell us. Oh man, you got to go trade up. Like let me tell you this right now, Bishop. Let's say you're Washington. You're the Washington Commanders. You got the number 2 pick. Are you honestly going to trade 2 number 1s and a number 2 just to move up 1, just so you can get Caleb Williams, man?
Stupid.
That's just stupidity.
There's some things to talk about real quick. I'll just get to it. See, number 1, Chicago does not need Caleb Williams. They have Fields. So they've publicly said, we're not going to get a quarterback. So they're fielding the trades already. It's already out there. Now, as far as the asking price, I think people get dumb, plumb, and stupid, a la Denver, when they gave up the whole house for Come on, man. His wife was a better selling point, and God bless her with dealing with MS. But the thing is, these things, man, these things have to be worked out, and we have to trust the GM. We got to stop being the armchair quarterback manager and owner and all of this. Now, I get it. We smart, Raider Nation, but sometimes it's better just to not stress. I'm telling you right now, what I like about the idea is because while Mahomes is getting older, he's what, 30 now, and age starts to hit on him, and he starts to feel it as he gets touched by the whole division in the West. And boy, we get after it more than any other division. And so when I like what we have in youth, I think our chances of winning the next 3, 4, 5 years, maybe not next year, but maybe the year after, with a quarterback like Jaden Daniels, who's coming up, seeing how O'Connell is playing, the leash is short on him. Come on, Mr. Statue. I like his moxie and his mentalness and all of that, but he's got to grow up quick now. And so I think he can do it, but I don't think he's the answer. So that means now, if we just watch this, if we just sit back at 13 and let everybody get what they need, I know Washington's going to need a quarterback. I know a few other teams like New England, they're going after somebody. They're rumored to go after this guy. And I don't think anybody's going to just let the Raiders come up and get number one.
Right. And that's the thing too, Bishop, is and me and Captain Jack.
But if you want your guy, you might have to.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, Bishop.
No.
Because if we sit at 13 and miss and get another Wilson,
no. You don't need to go to number one. If your target is Jaden Daniels, you go to 3. Because if you go to 3, you are guaranteed to get one of the top 3 quarterbacks. And Caleb Williams likely is going to be gone, because Washington, and that's one of the main reasons why Cliff Kingsbury left the building, was because he was told in no uncertain terms that the Raiders are not going to jump up to number 1 in order to get Caleb Williams. So he's like, okay, well, I'm see ya. And he left because Cliff Kingsbury is all about working with the quarterback that he's worked with the last 2 years. So it's less of a learning curve to anything that he has to do. He's going to get the quarterback that he wants in that system. And that's what he wants. Cliff Kingsbury wants Caleb Williams. Now, Washington is sitting at 2. And I firmly believe that Washington will do everything in their power to jump to 1 in order to afford somebody else not jump into 1. Remember when the Raiders jumped to 2 in order to get, Orlando Pace? They jumped to number 2 in order to get Orlando Pace. And what happened? The Rams jumped to number 1, and they got him.
Yep.
So who did the Raiders get? They got Darrell Russell, I believe. Okay? They got Darrell, and may he rest in peace. I actually got a football. I got a football over there by Darrell Russell. So that's one thing. But wait a second. Like I said, if your target is Jaden Daniels and you move to 3, and Caleb Williams is one of the first 2 guys taken, and whoever else, say Caleb Williams is taking number 1, and let's say Jaden Daniels is taking number 2, then that means you have the option of Drew May or Marvin Harrison Jr. at 3. That's not a bad fallback. Really isn't.
No. What's the greatest need? It's quarterback.
No, it is not.
Hold on. It's not. Why are you gonna rile us up like that? The greatest need is quarterback. Listen. Okay,
we don't have a backup.
Let me just.
We don't have a starter.
Listen. Okay, Cap. I'm gonna get on my soapbox for a second.
Go ahead.
All right. I'm see now, Bishop, you got to get everyone riled up talking about how we need a quarterback. Let me explain. Let me explain real quick. All right. We had a terrible, discombobulated scenario last year where we had the first half of the year with a really crappy scenario with coaches and feelings and whatnot. And then in the second half of the year, we finally got AP and he started getting the attitude right. Not the plays, because we had Bo Hardegree. We were just basically putting Band-Aids in holes, right, of what was going to be a sinking ship. So we took a rookie quarterback who was drafted in the 4th round, who we traded up to go get. And I'm just going to say records, man. These are just facts, Bishop. I told you this is what it's going to be like with me. It's going to be facts. Fact of the matter is, Bishop, and I'm going to let you get on your soapbox, but fact of the matter is, Aiden O'Connell went 5-5. He won 5 games. He lost 5 games. That's his rookie record, man. That's his rookie record. Just like when AP today said, you guys could keep talking about how the way to win the West is to go through the team in red. But the last time I checked, I'm 3-1. And that's the interim coach. I'm 3-1. He was basically saying, what do you think is going to happen next year? What do you think is going to happen next year, right? So I'm saying let's give AOC a full chance. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So when you say the words, our biggest need is quarterback, disagree, man. That's not our biggest need. Our biggest need is a full team. But anyways, I digress. I give it back to you.
See,
go
the
ahead,
problem,
Bishop. Go ahead.
The problem, and I'm not just screaming quarterback, but I don't see a starter. I don't see a definite go guy. The chief can understand what I'm saying here when I address him on that, is because even in the military, you're not going to send the third string pilot up to go after an ace that you got to take down in the Middle East. Okay, you don't send the fifth string backup to go get somebody. And I like Captain Jack, what he said is our biggest need is O-line. Could it be coaching the O-line?
Well, okay, wait a second. If you're if you're going to bring that up, who's the O-line coach?
Right now, I don't know who the O-line
coach is. There is no O-line coach right now.
So,
there's none. There is no O-line coach.
Somebody's coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody's coming from somebody's college.
I'm unemployed and I've coached offensive line before. I'll come.
Well, you better next time you come to Vegas, you better be knocking on the door during the weekday.
Put the resume in. Okay, so here's the thing. I ain't kidding.
I'm serious. I'd beat down the door and say, "Damn it, here I am."
But where it is, like I said, our biggest need is an offensive line that will be able to provide protection for our quarterback and open holes for our running back. Period. Period.
All right. I just saw something.
And I can do that.
Who, Matt, you said we can go get an experienced, look at this. We can go get an experienced free agent QB to help O'Connell.
Yes.
All right, let's hypothetically go down that train track.
All right, go ahead, Bishop. Let's hypothetically go down that track.
Joe Flacco.
Now, remember the way he just worded it. He said we can get an experienced free agent quarterback to help Aiden O'Connell. He didn't say to replace Aiden O'Connell. He said to help Aiden O'Connell.
Who won the comeback player of the year for the NFL this year?
That's what I was going to say, Captain Jack. That's what I was going to say.
I guess you missed that 10 minutes of time on the NFL honors last night.
But see, no,
See,
there you go again. There you go again, Bishop.
If you take the other, if you take the other 30 teams in the NFL, which one does he start for?
He's not starting.
Oh, right.
Flacco's not starting.
Crickets.
But let me ask you this. When Flacco came off
he's the
bench,
backup.
I know. And when Flacco came off the couch, he came off the couch. He wasn't even in training camp. And he came off the couch and he almost took the Browns all the way. Almost did it, man. Almost did it. You're telling me that Flacco can't help teach Aiden O'Connell?
Yeah.
You can't tell me Flacco wouldn't be a great backup?
Flacco's set to
Come
retire.
on, man.
Okay. You got Garoppolo back there to whisper in his ear. If that's the case.
No garbage Garoppolo.
What's Flacco going to do that he can't do? I mean, if you're hiring him for that, I'm talking about the starter.
I am talking about the starter. I say you bring in Joe Flacco to start for the Raiders next year. Have Aiden O'Connell continue to learn, and the minute that you feel that Aiden O'Connell can take the reins, because he's already done it. He's already done it when Garoppolo showed what he could not do. They gave the reins to Aiden O'Connell, and he was 5-5. And he actually should have been 6-4 had they actually had not thrown that damn interception that was in his very first game. Okay, could have been 6-4.
I asked the question is, who is out there that can come in case of an injury to O'Connell? I mean, you guys seem to be of the idea, let's roll with him again And I'm saying, I think he's our backup. And two, there's no one out there. And I don't see no Russell Wilson, and I don't want Russell Wilson coming to the Raiders. Okay? They can't even give him away. Okay?
They are actually going to give him away. Somebody's going to sign him in for the vet minimum.
Cap,
and again, I am not a Russell Wilson advocate. I'm not a Russell Wilson advocate.
There's no one out there that's going to hold the clipboard for him. They either want to start
Jacoby Brissett,
or not do it.
Jacoby Brissett? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone?
I'm going to answer it for you, though, Bishop. I'm going to answer it for you. All right? So here's the answer to your question. First of all, you can obviously tell that both me and Cap believe that AOC should be given the chance to be a starter because it's the same. Like right now, man, we're talking hypotheticals. But hypothetically speaking, if AP would have came in as the interim coach and he would have done terribly, we wouldn't be talking about him as the next coach. And then we would have been in the whole coaching cycle. The fact that AP came in and was felt, he was felt. It went gangbusters and everybody wanted AP. The only reason why no one's saying that about Aiden O'Connell, and the only reason why is because it's such a big quarterback heavy draft that everybody's like, he needs to get replaced. He needs to get replaced. He needs to get replaced. How will I know that he needs to get replaced until I know for sure that he needs to be replaced? All I know is in his rookie year with crappy coaching scenarios, he's 5-5. Just like all I know is AP almost got us to the playoffs.
Now
he believed in Aiden O'Connell. And all I'm saying is, since AP believed in Aiden O'Connell, you don't remember AP being with a quarterback named Eli Manning, who happened to, I think Aiden O'Connell has a lot of the Eli Manning face. And let me just say this too. For any of you guys who haven't seen the Tom Brady, Steve Young conversation, look it up on YouTube. Because if you listen to the whole thing, Tom Brady starts to explain exactly what the problem is with quarterbacks today. He explains the process of how you're supposed to quarterback. And guess who's learning all of that? Guess who's being mentored by Tom Brady? Oh, that's right. His name's Aiden O'Connell. He's actually in the same room getting mentored by the guy.
But see, here's the problem. Let's go back to that Minnesota Viking game. And you, like I, was sitting at the boob tube watching, or some of us were in the seats at Allegiant. And, and I'm looking and I'm like, well, this drive, we're going to, okay, all right, next drive.
One play.
Next quarter.
One
third
play.
quarter.
One
fourth
play.
quarter.
One play.
Wait, my turn. And so when I look at that, I'm looking at productivity. They beat us by a field goal. I'm sorry. We're at home and we can't score. There's something wrong there. And you just happen to have Devontae Adams on your roster. You're throwing to him and Jacoby Myers and Mayer and these guys and Josh Jacobs and a good backup that could be the starter hypothetically. And you can't score. There's something wrong there.
One play.
And that tells me, and the red flags start going off, Captain and Angelo. I have been a Raider since 1976. I was 3 years old. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, I'm from the old guard. And I've seen 3 rings come and I keep shining them up every year saying, we gonna get another one. I want 4. But if you can't score in your own house and you can't beat 3 points, there's something wrong.
One
And then
play.
4 days later, he scored 62 points.
That part.
Yeah, okay.
It fits whatever was wrong.
And by the way, it was.
Why couldn't we score 60 something?
People
and
keep
then here's my.
No, don't say 62. We scored 49 as an offense. As an offense.
Still.
Wait a second. You're flapping the gums again. I keep saying one play. And if you remember right, because remember, I'm in the seat at Allegiant, and I kept saying, all we need is one play. All we need is one play. And do you guys remember that there was a certain pick six that was dropped by that great cornerback that we were talking about that we are glad is on our team? Jack Johnson dropped a pick six. One play. There was also a play where Aiden O'Connell threw that interception that wasn't an interception when you look at it again on the NFL, when they put it up on the screen, one play. And that interception caused them to get a field goal, one play. You look at those one plays. Johnson drops an interception, and there were a couple other offensive plays where our receivers played like Kansas City receivers that day. They kept dropping stuff. They kept dropping stuff where they were, we could have had, and Carlson doesn't have a baby foot, one play. And I kept saying again and again and again, one play. They had the one play. The Vikings had their one play. They had the kick, and the result was a 3-0, or if you're from Europe, 3-0, because it looked like a damn, soccer game. 3-0, one play. And we had a couple of those one plays, and they had the one play. And that's what it was. And for those that said he can't step up in the pocket, he's still a rookie. And I seem to recall that a certain person at war number 4 in his first season couldn't win until game 11 on a Thursday night against the Kansas City Chiefs, because I was there too. A rookie quarterback that couldn't do anything, and in his 11th game, won a game. Now, let me ask again, how many games has Aiden O'Connell played in the NFL? 10. I'm doing the guy from the Varsity movie. 10. And he's 5-5. Okay. And it took a certain other quarterback whose name I won't even go into, but he wore the same number. It took him 11 games to win his first NFL game on a wet Thursday in Oakland. So I'm just saying, he learned. He's been getting better. Can he step up like other people? Sure. If you give him time. Everybody's just ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Bishop wants this guy gone. So
exactly.
He's like,
that's not a very positive.
And he's a bishop.
That's not a very positive.
He's a bishop. It's like the guy is worthless. He's like Coward Coast up. You threw, you finished, you washed up, Ali. And that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Bishop wants to throw him out. And the ranking of Howard Coast out. You threw, you finished, you washed up. He's played 10 games. 10.
See.
Cap, hey, I want to give a quick shout out. Hey, man, GA Patriot, thank you. That's awesome. He gave us a nice little $4.99 right there. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
He agrees with me.
Yeah, he says, and now this is where I was going to lead into it so you can start talking, Bishop. But he said, I hope the Raiders draft a QB and AOC beats him out as a starter. Getsy will
probably coach him up.
Oh, coach him up.
Right.
Getsy will coach him up as a true pocket passer. So go. Now go ahead, Bishop. Go ahead, because I like that comment by GA Patriot.
I'm gonna come back to reality here. See what you were talking about, Captain. The lights went on, and I said, I hate to bring it up, but that guy over there in Kansas City, he would have ran. Okay, the guy in Denver, he would have ran.
Slowly.
The guy in LA, Herbert, he would have ran to get the win. There's something about wanting it. You're at home. You're not on the road. You're in that comfortable stadium, and you can't get it done. That's not okay with me. These are the pros. This ain't high school. This ain't college. This ain't JV. This ain't the flag football. I'm talking about having somebody as a weapon. It's about time we get one. And I just saw a posting where our coach is targeting Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I saw that post.
And that's his prerogative. That's his prerogative.
Jack,
I'm trusting the process, brother.
Now, I want to respond to what Bishop is saying, Captain Jack, real quick. And I really like what GA put out. So I'm keeping it up there so that everybody can see the subject that we're talking about. So here I go on what you were saying, Bishop. You were saying you want somebody who wants it, somebody who could run, blah, blah, blah. Well, like I said, you, sir, might want to take a chance to go watch Steve Young and Tom Brady on tape talking today about the problem with quarterbacks nowadays instead of what you're supposed to do. Your job. You know what a quarterback's job is? It ain't to run, baby. It's to pass the ball. And you know what Tom Brady said is the problem with young quarterbacks now? You see, the problem is, and I'm going to paraphrase, guys, so please don't execute me if I didn't say it exactly. Just go watch Steve Young, Tom Brady interview today where they're having a conversation about quarterbacks and how they're supposed to play. He said that coordinators play chess, but the quarterbacks are trying to react rather than do the job, which is prepare and study and study and study so that before you even go into the line and say the word hike and get the ball, you already knew what the checkdowns were. You already knew what was going to happen. And even Tom Brady himself said, why are you saying hike if you already knew that the cover two wasn't the right one for the play that's being called? This is where it starts to matter. And now I get to say Peyton Manning was really good at this. Tom Brady was really good at this, right? Every quarterback that doesn't need to run, like a Joe Flacco, did win a Super Bowl. By the way, Trent Dilfer, from what I remember, won a Super Bowl. And you want to know why? Bishop, I'm going to tell you why. Because they didn't sell the farm for a running quarterback. What they did is they kept building on what they got, which is defense, baby. And that's what we got. We got defense. So anyway, that's my thing. Go ahead.
You know, my whole thing here is it's not about getting a quarterback who can run. It's a quarterback who just won't stand back there and get a sack. I mean, throw the ball away, roll out, do something. Don't just give up yards and take the sack and the negative. And instead of second down and 10, it's now 3rd and 20. We got to get out of that. Okay. And that means the offensive coordinator has to come up with some better plays. So I think it's going to be better now. Okay. But we've got to do something better than what we've been doing over the years. We can't just sit back and just wait for something to come to us. We got to take a stab in the first round. And I'm tired of always getting a bum. The only shining light out there at offensive line is the guy from UCLA, and he's up there in age now. Who else we got? The young kid Parnham, he might be too small. Illuminor.
All right. See, now he's talking. Now he's talking O-line. Go ahead, Captain Jack. Tell him how.
I want me a nice 500-pound big corn-fed guy back down there that's pushing everybody out the way. Yeah,
okay. And I'll talk.
But at 13, I don't see him coming.
No, they're right. You're right there. Go ahead,
you haven't been paying attention then to the IR list on the Raiders, because there is a mountain of a man that was sitting on IR who plays right tackle and is mean as Foxtrot, because I'm cleaning it up for the kids and the Bishop. And he's sitting there, Dalton something or other. Can't remember his name. I know.
Dalton Wagner.
Thank you there, Dalton Wagner. That sounds like the guy on Roadhouse too, right? Except that he probably could beat the living crap out of, what's his nose now and then. But Dalton Wagner, if you got Dalton Wagner at right tackle, okay. And by the way, if the Raiders don't trade up, right, and they go and get all these people that they're projected to get at 13, Tulasa Fuaga and off menu or whatever. I can't remember the Nigerian kid out of Penn State. The mountain. Thank you. If they get those guys, that's another big deal. Okay. And Transplant even was talking about a kid from Oregon who plays center, and he was going to talk a little bit more about him, who weighs 300 plus and can play left guard, center, and right guard.
He can move,
right? And he can move.
Oh, see now, Bishop. Here we go. This is what I do, Bishop.
Set him up.
I already got my draft boards. I did an entire hour and a half with Wayward Aussie Raider. We did it on a show where we were explaining the cap space, who we can cut, how much money we're actually going to have, and then we talked about the draft. And this is what you're asking for. I love it, because you were like, I'm like some big man. You want them Dallas Cowboys big boys in the front back in the 90s style, those guys that could really protect, the ones that were giving all that room to Emmitt Smith, back in the day. Right?
I want a 2 times Allen guy.
We got bigger on the roster and who we can draft. And by the way, they can move. They can move.
So
let me go ahead and give you a little.
If Captain's the GM, let me ask you, Captain. We in the war room. Here comes our pick at 13. Are we gonna make a move to 12 or 11 to go get the kid out of UCLA?
No.
Line him up.
Cap, let me answer this one. Cap, let me answer this one because I studied it more. Now I know you like the kid from LA, Bishop. And believe me,
he's a monster.
Since I know Latte Latu is his name. If everybody's wondering who Bishop's talking about,
I like a latte about now too. Go listening.
Can I say something just real quick?
Okay, go ahead.
Dallas has Alston, okay, with that line and those corners, okay.
Mm-hmm.
If we get the kid from UCLA, we got a Mike Alston or better.
All right. Okay. So here, I'm gonna give you some info that you might not have known. The very first interview that the Raiders did do when they were in the Senior Bowl was Latte Latu. And it was reported right away, like, hey, and guess what? Every draft board is showing, man, this Latte Latu is ready to play. He's day one starter, ready to go. He's experienced. He's got all the pro moves, blah, 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 blah. And I like him too. And you know what? If at 13 we get him, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it because it would give me an idea that what they're trying to do is they're trying to get their other Max Crosby on the other side. And they're probably thinking, hey, maybe we could take Malcolm Kuntz and make him a middle linebacker or inside style linebacker, and they're going to do a NASCAR package. Like, I totally get it. Like, I get it, man. And I wouldn't hate on that. But if you do pay attention to the Senior Bowl, the Shrine Bowl, you start watching a lot of these tapes, the talent for offensive line this draft might be the greatest it's ever had in the history of the NFL. And they're saying that there's probably going to be at least nine offensive linemen taken in the first round, which means
10. I want 10.
Okay, maybe 10. All right. But here's what I'm going to tell you right now. All right. Here's what I'll tell you, Bishop. Okay. If that many offensive linemen is taken in the first round, and we're not smart enough to go pick up one of the best ones at 13, we're going to lose out. And here's the other thing. If 9 of them go, that means Latte Latu will probably drop in the second round. And we can go get him in the second.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is you gotta play out the draft board first. Because if they start picking out stuff, then and then here's another thing. And again, I'm just gonna give you little pieces so that everybody can keep joining us on Thursdays and Sundays. When you get me on,
Captain's the GM. So I'm asking you, Mr. GM, Mr. Tom Telesco, which way are we going? Because I know in the history you've gone to the smaller schools, but here at the Raider Nation, we like to go to the big SECs and the UCLAs and the Cal Berkeleys and the Washingtons and So which way are we going at 13?
Now, am I Tom Telesco, aka Tom Fiasco, for in homage to Sharisa Allah Khan, who calls him Tom Fiasco? Am I Tom Fiasco or am I J Captain Jack?
No,
You can be Captain Jack. You can be Captain Jack, the GM.
That's two different
That's
questions.
two different things. So
Thank
be
you.
Captain Jack.
You're
Captain Jack.
No, if
Tom,
I'm
how
drafting,
are we going?
no, I'm not Tom. I'm not Tom, Bishop, and I'm sorry. I can't pretend to be somebody who I'm not. I can't pretend to be somebody because again, if you want to talk about what Telesco has done in the past, that guy has got a good read on it, and he will tell people in future shows what that guy has done in the past and how he does his draft board. That guy, go over the shipmate to my left and go over one. Okay, there you go. That guy knows based upon his research of what Telesco has done in the past. If you're talking to me, Captain Jack, the ex-offensive lineman that was really offensive, I want to get the kid out of Penn State or Fuaga out of Oregon?
Oregon State.
And if
That guy
they're
from
gone,
Penn State is slated to go much higher than that 13.
What I'm saying is we got to see who's there, okay? And then if those two guys are gone, I might go get that center out of Oregon.
Yeah,
that Transplant was talking about. And
Jackson Powers Johnson.
There you go. It sounds like a movie anyway. Austin Jackson Powers Johnson. You can call me Jay. Whatever. We'll go on that tangent another time. But the point is that I get that kid because he can play left guard, center, and right guard, and it's still filling a need because we need help in the guards as well as center because James is gone, and we're going to have to replace him anyway. And the unfortunate thing is if we are rebuilding or revamping that defensive line, a la the image of the Hogs or the Dallas Cowboys offensive line that just ran people over, if we're doing it in that image, then unfortunately Dylan Parham was a wasted pick a couple years ago. If we're going in that thing. Now I'm not saying that Dylan Parham is a waste. He's not. But if you're trying to put Dylan Parham as a smaller guy who can move and can block, and you want to put all of these big bodies up front, then it's a wasted pick. And maybe you can trade him for some collateral at a later time because you're going with a different scheme. And again, it all depends upon who the offensive line coach is, because it's definitely not Dante. Glad he's friggin' out of here, Scarnecchia. Okay.
So seeing that Adams likes to drop balls that are right in his breadbasket, are we targeting a wide receiver like a Jerry, the Jerry Rice Jr.?
Yeah, Brendan Rice. Yeah, I got you. I got you on this one. This is again, like I said, this is what I'm bringing to Captain Jack show is all this information that Transplant.
Oh, that I never do because I just talk to people.
This is what I'm doing. Like a lot of you guys who are listening, and I hope the ones who will continue to watch. If I don't know the answer because I didn't do the research, then
that was a knockout punch, man. Like, well, unlike the guy who's normally here who doesn't know shit about Shinola, I actually have done. And hey, guys, this is the truth. I will say that I am prepared on certain tangents, but I got to be ready for everything for my views. I have run a different show that will be different than what these guys are going to. Let me make sure I can see the thing. Okay, that what these guys are going to do, and that makes it entertaining.
Right.
That makes it entertaining. These gentlemen will have the stats and the things up front for them. And that's why when I do actually do a show, and I was talking to Angelo about this, that's why I said, hey, Jason Dean Hunter, by the way, you are in here, Jason Dean Hunter, and you portend to be a draft guru. I fully expect you to be on a show with that guy to say what the Raiders should do and have that difference of opinion and let you guys fight it out, okay? But if you're getting back to point, if you're me, I'm taking a big ugly a big ugly, and it's the best big ugly at 13, whether it's offensive lineman or a plugger on the defense, should one fall that way. And by the way, if Ladu or Lada, whatever, okay, the kid out of UCLA, if he drops to 13, I'm not pissed off about that either, because I'm getting somebody that's going to help out the trenches. And granted, the trenches on the defensive lineman, it's been. I would rather have an offensive lineman, because we did not address that last year. We didn't do it. We had two unrestricted free agents, which Dalton was one, and the other kid that went to another school, he was snapped up by the Seahawks, and the kid was great in development. That's how we addressed offensive line last year. We need to actually do it this year.
But Bishop, hold on. Save that thought, because again, I don't want the audience to get lost on some of this information. So I'm going to start giving some of these names. So let me just do this real quick, then I'm going to let you get on. All right. So some of the names that everybody's talking about, and what Captain Jack keeps saying is, if you really do your deep dive into the draft, this is why it's better to wait at 13 to see how the draft board falls, instead of going after certain people. Because, for example, Jackson Powers Johnson, literally right now, after the Senior Bowl and after they saw how at 330 pounds, the kid is a starting center at 330 pounds and was moving every single top defender. It didn't even matter. He was handling them like they were children, right? For a center to be thought of by 32 teams that he might actually go in the first round is insane. So, for example, if he drops to 13 and Telesco says, I'm picking that that guy, I'm sorry. I'm picking that guy because he can play left guard, right guard, at center right away. We're in. But here's the whole thing. Let me just name some of these other names, and I'm going to let you go, Bishop. But then there is this whole thing with our offensive line right now, where we already have Colton Miller. We already have Dylan Parham, who can play left guard or center, right? We still have Dalton Wagner, who we signed to a pretty big reserve contract deal, and he's a big boy from Arkansas, right? We still have Thayer Mumford, who did pretty good at right tackle, and it'd be nice to give him a try at right guard, right tackle. But here's the other thing that the GA Patriot put out there that we can address is free agency. Hi, Anna. Nice to see you. Hi, Anna. Free agency. And in free agency, there's a kid from the Patriots. His name's Michael Owenwu. And Michael Owenwu is a dog, and he can also play left guard, right tackle. So we got money for that. So we're going to address the O-line, but you can't pass up on talents like Talisi Fuaga. Talisi Fuaga, 335 pounds, plays right tackle, but can also play right guard. You can't pass up on Joe Alt, Notre Dame. Somebody mentioned that on the comment. You can't pass up on Olu Fashanu, Penn State, left tackle. Like, there's so many talented people, you just can't pass up on it. And here's the best part. We got number 44, which means whoever drops, whichever other talented people drop, great. Because there's a guy by the name of Tyler Guyton, Oklahoma, right tackle. Go ahead and Google search him, everybody, because you're about to see a guy who was originally projected to maybe go early third, and now he might go into first.
Now I understand. Now I understand what Captain said. I want 10. I want 10. I get it.
I get it now. But I just want to address those things. I'm gonna let you go, do your thing, and but this is what we were saying is there's so much talent. There's just so much talent. But go ahead, Bishop.
Yeah, I like it. Man, I don't want us losing. I don't want to suck again next year.
We suck again.
At having to, dude, who's the quarterbacks coming out? Because they said this year, this is the best class since a long time. And I hate looking at Kansas City, who has this guy who I want to say plays at the position. And I know I'm up against the clock here in a few minutes, but I just want to segue real quick. The Super Bowl, as you brought up earlier, Angelo, they don't talk about the guy that we see how we beat up in his own house, and he was frowning and upset and ugly. That's the face I want to see on Sunday. Okay, I want to see Bosa and company get him off his mark and set him aside. Because when you frustrate him, when you touch him, when you pepper him, when you hit him and make him fumble and get him frustrated, you saw how disrespectful they were to us with those trick plays. Let them come out in the Super Bowl and try that stuff against that defense, okay? They don't play that. Sometimes they arrive late to the scene, but I like what you're talking about. And how the Raiders have an opportunity to turn this thing around, but I do not want to see the same old going in, year out, year in, year out, and we looking up. Now, it did look great, and AP, it looks great. It looks great. He's slated to bring the wood, and I don't care what nobody says. I get all tickled about it because when you have the right attitude at coach, you can really run amok against teams who ain't expecting you. And that's what AP said is they got to get ready for me, okay, for these Raiders, for my attitude, for their attitude, because we coming with, we ain't got time to mess around. We want to win now.
Yeah, and you know what, Bishop? By the way, Captain Jack, GA Patriots on fire, man. GA Patriot. Thank you so much. I'm so happy you guys are loving this content. So again, we can all friendly agree to disagree on certain things, but at the end of the day, it's all about the Raiders and what's going to be best. We already have our leader, like you said, wants to bring the wood, and it'd be nice for us to back him up with a gang of people that can actually back up his words. Which is why, one of the comments I want to address when you said it, and I know you got to go for your beautiful child's birthday here pretty soon. Amen. So everybody on chat, man, what's the young man's name again, Bishop?
His name is Crixus Julian Breu. He'll be 3 years old on Monday, but we're going to be celebrating tomorrow. I have class on tonight for my Bible college, and I'm so elated that the great Captain Jack has chosen me and Angelo to head his program and his show, and especially for our beloved Raiders. It is going to be a great festive time the next 3 weeks. Look forward to it. Tune in. Tell a friend. Amen. Share the video. Tell somebody, say, hey, you ain't seen it, you ain't heard it like this before. Come on, because we're going to be unadulterated, alliterated Raider Nation.
There you go.
And I don't care what he look like. Raiders for life.
Hey, Bishop, I just want to say, and everybody, man, pop in them happy birthdays. Pop in those happy birthdays for the little man. Happy birthday to the young man. So blessed to have health most importantly. My son was born on the 12th. He's going to be 20 years old on Monday, and that's the one that I was telling Captain Jack. He's had 10 heart surgeries, Bishop, if you can believe it.
Oh, man.
He was only born with half of his heart. And here he is at UNLV in college, sophomore year. So it's all about health and happiness and blessings.
That's right.
You gotta count your blessings all the time. It's a beautiful thing for you to be able to celebrate your child's birthday. So you can go at any time, Bishop. We don't want to hold you up because we know you got a party to go on to, and I can address what you were saying. But yeah, for the crowd, man, send your happy birthday, your prayers, your wishes to Bishop and this little man. Yeah, Amen. There you go, guys. There you go.
Thank you, guys, everybody. And I will see you next Thursday. Amen. What a great inspirational show that's coming forth. And we'll have more than just the football and talks about the draft. We'll be talking about the NBA and what's going on with that. Also, for you folks who are into hockey, we'll have some information about you and what you want to chime in for and your favorite team, amen, on the ice. hey, we got a great show coming, and I won't do too much because I want to make sure Angelo gets in and gets his part as well.
Hey, and guys, you got to tune in. So that Thursday ones, that's all right there. That's going to be Bishop's. He's the one opening it. He's the one heading it. I'm gonna pop in as soon as I'm done with my transplant support group. So I promise I will join it. But it probably won't be until the end.
Wait a second. Kind of like what Sharisa Alakan told me, like screw school. You know, it's Raiders. Screw your transplant support group.
Oh, come on, Jack.
I'm paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing what Sharisa Alakan told me when I said I was going to be in school the next 3 weeks. You said, school. So I'm just saying. And again, you know, obviously, you know, I say that purely.
No, I know, Captain Jack. No,
you do what's important, and that's important. And I said Bishop's going to be leading the Thursday lineup, and you're going to be coming in later on. And depending upon how wrecked I am after school, I might try to pop in and say
jump
hello,
in, right? Yeah.
But immediately go to bed. Because again,
absolutely. And then, guys, I'll be the one leading up the Sunday ones. But Bishop's going to be there with me too, so he's not leaving me along. And with me, I'm going to keep it. I'm really into the draft, guys. I'm going to give you a lot of information on free agency, the draft, the cap room, what the news is, what's going on. Because I got time to pay attention to all this stuff. So.
Hey, and you see the captain has left you in good hands. Two guys that bleed silver and black, and no matter what, we're going to go out harder and stronger than ever. May God bless you all. And thank you, Captain, as well, for honoring me to come on and host your show. And shalom to you guys.
Shalom, Shabbat shalom to you as well. And you guys know that you guys are going to get into such a predicament that you're going to have to do a Friday show after I come back. You know, I'm just saying, you brought this upon yourself, and it's great.
I see how you go. I see how.
Come on, Captain Jack.
Listen to this
guy. Trying to help you out.
I can see this. It's
a Thursday and a Friday, huh?
No, well, when I come back, and I do I try to take over, and then they say, no, we want the other guys again. I said, I might be Wally Pipp. I might be Wally Pipp. But if the viewership is what I've seen tonight, you know, for Friday shows, you might be these two guys on a Friday. Just saying.
Yeah, amen.
We'll see.
Amen.
I appreciate you guys. I'm out.
Hey, thanks, Bishop. Thanks for the time. Thanks for the time.
And happy birthday to the little one.
I'll be watching on my way. Thank you. I'll be watching on my way to class here. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. We'll make sure we talk about you while you.
Yeah, and now that he's gone, let's talk about him. You know, because he's
exactly.
All right.
Take care, brother. All right.
Anyway. Oh man, Captain Jack. That's having Bishop is really, really fun. He definitely brings a very strong energy, a fun energy, a different energy, and brings up a lot of different things too. You know, I can see how someone like me, if you guys are listening to me the whole time, you might get tired of the analytics and the information. I would definitely say jump in on the show if you want to know more and you haven't had the time to watch or get to know some of this stuff. But if I know the information because I watched it or I studied the film or I studied the tape, happy to give it to all of you guys who are listening. Jack Kenna has a question.
Yeah, good question. And by the way,
in Raider Nations, can a Jimmy G play well in a Get-C system? You want to go first, Captain Jack?
No, I just want to say, because I know Sharif wanted to come into the show. When you want to come in, if you want to tap in, you got to go to this guy and for Bishop on the shows. Just keep pounding the desk. Say, because I usually put that link up at 30 minutes into a show. I put that link up at 30 minutes into the show. But this is a different format. So if you want to come into the show, make sure you keep pounding the comments section saying, hey, tap in. I want to do this. And Jack Kenna, I know will be there. I know Sharif will be there. I know that there are people that are always going to be in the comment section, and I appreciate that. But make sure that these guys, him and then our departed, just for a little while, our departed guest co-host for the next 3 weeks or so, if not longer. Make sure that they know. So if you want to have that, Sharif, if you want to come in, let us know. And again, it'll be up to. I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm not even here.
I'll address the question, Captain Jack. And again, you and I kind of had a tight schedule for today, anyhow. But if there's a little bit, Sharif, I'll send it out. But with Captain Jack, I'm going to address this question, Jack. I have a question. No one asked in the Raider Nation: can a Jimmy G play well in a Getsy system? So, if the question is, you're asking if a Jimmy G type can play well in a Luke Getsy system, that I'm going to assume that you're asking. So, should we go get someone like a Bo Nix, right? Because that's sort of like a Jimmy G-ish. I mean, I was actually thinking like Michael Pratt is more like how Jimmy G plays. And Michael Pratt from Tulane is someone who could probably pick up in the third round. That'd be the highest. He might even drop to the fourth. Some people are saying he's going to go up to the second, but we're going to find out, man. That combine, that underwear Olympics makes people do funny things, man. You start to see a quarterback that didn't really necessarily do that great, but then he runs the 40 in like 4.3. All of a sudden, everybody gets excited about him. So, but watch the tape on Michael Pratt. From Tulane. He's a Jimmy G type. But if your question is, could Jimmy G himself play in a Luke Getsy system? And again, I'm going to try to stay positive. The Luke Getsy system, you have to understand, is it comes from the West Coast tree. And really the best example of it is how you saw Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams make it work in Green Bay. There is a lot of running, which is why when you look up Luke Getsy, he turned Chicago in 2022 as the number one running team in the entire NFL. And then in 2023, I think they were still number two. And I know some people are going to say, well, that's because Justin Fields ran a lot, which I'm going to say, by the way, if you watch the tapes, he didn't have to run. He could have thrown the ball to the open person. And if you guys don't believe me, go watch Tape Don't Lie. Those are guys that break down tapes. They actually show you the plays. And if you could sit through it and watch how many times Justin Fields missed the open man, passes that Jordan Love doesn't miss, Aaron Rodgers doesn't miss, Aiden O'Connell won't miss it. So, again, that's the Luke Getsy system. So with Jimmy G, the only thing I'll say is at this point, number one, I don't think we're keeping him anyways because it'll cost us more to keep him unless he chooses to restructure, which is a whole nother conversation. But by dropping Jimmy G, we'll lose about a little over 15 million. It's like 15.8. But then we will save 12. And the saving the 12 kind of like just so that you guys don't get confused, what that means is really what we're saving or what we're losing is 3 million. We're going to lose 3 million off the cap by cutting Jimmy G because we have to pay him to 15, but then we save 12. So 15 minus 12 in reverse, it ends up being a -3. So we're losing 3 million by cutting Jimmy G as long as we cut him after June 1st. But in terms of Jimmy G playing in that system now, he'd do okay, but he wouldn't be as good as Aiden O'Connell because Aiden, you have to throw the ball deep. In the Luke Getsy system, when you finally go run, and then you get a good play action, when you get a good play action, it's got to be first read, dude's open, throw the ball, which is why Trey Tucker is going to do really well. And Bishop mentioned, are we going to draft wide receivers? Probably, because Brendan Rice is going to drop probably in the third. There's Malik Washington, who's like the comparison for Malik Washington out of Virginia right now is Tank Dell. We could easily get him too. And then, by the way, guys, there's Luke McCaffrey. That's the little brother of Christian McCaffrey. His dad is Ed McCaffrey, and I don't know if you remember, but Ed McCaffrey is pretty good. His son did awesome at the Senior Bowl. So Luke McCaffrey might drop to us in the fourth. And I'm not hating on any of these legacy type players, whether it's Luke McCaffrey, Brendan Rice, because it also means that we get their dads in the room. And I'm sure AP will talk to their dads about being mentors in the room. So there's kind of a double get there. Like one of the big talks when it comes to defensive linemen is Chris Jenkins from Michigan. Well, his dad is one of the best defensive tackles. I would hate that if we got him, because then we get his dad too. But no, in terms of the quarterback conversations are going to be fun. Luke Getsy conversations are going to be fun. So please just do some homework on it. There's plenty of people now doing it. And then I want to bring this up. Captain Jack, I'm not sure if you saw it, but they interviewed Davante Adams today on Luke Getsy, and Davante Adams did nothing but praise this guy. Basically, like the way Max Crosby praises AP is kind of the way Davante Adams praises Luke Getsy. And for some of you guys who may not know, when Davante Adams first came in as a wide receiver, he wasn't doing that well. Then Luke Getsy became the wide receiver coach, started teaching and sort of explaining to Davante Adams some of the route runnings, and then he put him at slot. And that's where Davante Adams really flourished to being the Davante Adams now. When you talk about a Davante Adams, one of the big things about him is high intellect, but one of the best route runners in the entire game. Well, you can't take away that Luke Getsy actually helped him get there. And that's because Luke Getsy was the Division I quarterback. He sees it from the quarterback's point of view. That's why he was such a good quarterback teacher. He was such a good wide receiver teacher. And then he was really good at explaining a passing coordinator. So if the only knock on Luke Getsy is, oh, well, Justin Fields didn't look that great, got to watch the tape, man, because a lot of it is Justin Fields literally running instead of throwing the ball where the open pocket was. And we already know Aiden O'Connell, he can't run. So he's not going to run. He's either going to
allegedly. And that can be taught.
Yeah, and that can be taught. And then again, he doesn't need to run. He just needs to do exactly what Tom Brady was talking about with Steve Young, which is you do the homework, which I'm sure AOC4 is going to do, and he's going to fight for his job. And then you guys will see. You guys will see. But again, I'm going to trust Telesco, just like you were saying, Captain Jack. But honestly, and we've talked, and you mentioned this, Captain Jack. What I've studied about Telesco so far is the way he does his process. Really, a 2-year studying process. Like it took him 2 years to study Justin Herbert for him to be sure to go get Justin Herbert. So when you're hearing about this whole talk about AP, he might want to trade up to go get Jaden Daniels. Just remember, that's not Telesco talking. That's if it is AP talking, then maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But at the end of the day, this draft, though Telesco is the GM, it's got a lot of hands on it. And Telesco is going to lean a lot on Champ Kelly. He's going to lean a lot on Antonio Pierce. He's going to lean a lot on the current scouting reports and the staff, because he doesn't have the 2 years that he had when he was with the Chargers, where they literally studied Justin Herbert for 2 years. And then when draft day came, they were like, that's our guy. That's the guy we're going to get. And you got to admit, Captain Jack, Justin Herbert's a pretty good get, right? 2 years of studying. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. So,
Charger fans actually stated that and again, in homage to Sharisa Allah Khan, Tom Fiasco, what he did well at times, but he also, at the latter portion of the draft, he didn't do quite as well. And that's why I'm hoping that is what Champ Kelly is going to be here for, is the stuff that Fiasco, again, an homage, aka Telesco, did was getting really good talent in rounds 1, 2, and 3. It was after that he kind of tailed off. But as you stated, Champ Kelly has been with this staff, and he knows the scouts. He knows what we have been wanting them to do. And I think that with Kelly talking with Telesco, saying, this is what we want, this is what we've gotten for you, and with Telesco bringing in his right-hand man that was putting on all of the information brackets the other day. So Telesco has his first mate, shall we say, who he's going to confer with, and then AP is going to confer with Champ Kelly, and it's going to be a compendium of what the Raiders want to do based upon the systems and what Antonio Pierce wants to do with the Raiders. So it's going to be a collection, compendium, a committee of what needs to be done. And the scouts are going to give those guys up, and it's up to the brain trust, the four-headed monster, to figure out what they want. And I did say this as well. It's very important to figure out who is the offensive line coach, because I don't know who that is. But the Getsy already brought over the old Bears offensive line coach to be a tight ends coach. Okay, so he has that knowledge base of what Getsy wants to do, but he's going to implement it within the tight ends, which needs to be done with Mayer, because Mayer was a very good receiving tight end. He needs to work on his blocking skills. And we need to get those guys involved in the running game and the passing game, and that's a good get. But I still want to know a good get, no pun intended on that one. But we still need to know who the offensive line coach will be, so stay tuned on that. By the way, other news out of the Raiders is that we lost our defensive passing game coordinator, who went and left the franchise. I can't remember which team he went to, but he's gone, and that's a major loss from the guys that were running for the defensive passing coordinator. He was with Graham for at least the last 2 years in Vegas, and he's gone to take a job. And I'm sorry, I can't remember where he's going, but we've lost another staff member. Well, like I said, we lost the O-line coach, big deal, okay? But we need to get an O-line coach in, and we do still need to fill in those holes that we need. Remember, Marvin Lewis is in here in a position to be determined, okay? I was told that the Ocho Cinco saying he's on staff was a bunch of BS.
Yeah, no, they confirmed that was BS, Cap. And then Marvin Lewis already has a title. It is assistant coach. That's his actual title. He's the assistant to the head coach. So I think that a lot of times he'll speak for it. I agree with you that they're almost done with the staff, but AP is doing his due diligence. I told you kind of his interview style is he hammers them with the hard questions. Good. So I'm sure he's going to find the right offensive line coach. And then I'll check up on if we already picked up somebody for defensive passing coordinator. But I think they're just really trying to get everything. It's like Telesco's playing catch up right now too. He's really what he's doing now is he's doing the scouting report for himself, which is why we hired JoJo Wooden, his number one assistant. So JoJo Wooden's a part of the Raiders now as the director of player personnel. But him and JoJo Wooden are really just kind of like studying and encompassing everything about the Raiders. Like, what is it that you guys like? Why'd you draft this guy? What was the scouting report on Parham? What's the scouting? Like, they're really studying it from the inside out rather than being an outsider, which is why I was saying that when they choose, just remember that yes, it is Telesco, that's the GM, but don't get so mad at him if something doesn't work out, because he's really leaning a lot right now on the rest of the team. Like I won't be able to tell you his great picks probably until the 2025 and the 2026 drafts, because now he's going to study it for himself, kind of like what he did with Justin Herbert and Derwin James and all these other Rashawn Slater. But like I said, man, he's going to go through a lot of names. He will not just pick a draft just to pick a draft. Yeah, if you guys look up an interview with him, Telesco and Sunset Rewind, which is a couple of local guys here. One of them is a teacher for Cypress High School. And it's just Telesco talking, right? Because he's known these guys for a long time, and he's being very trustworthy. He couldn't divulge any of the the information you can't divulge before the draft, but he talked about the process, and he talked about how he's not necessarily talented. He learned a lot from Ryan. You'll know this, Captain Jack. Bill. Is it Polian? God, I'm messing up his name. Bill
Polian from the Colts.
So he talked a lot about just learning from that, learning what it was like to be around when the whole Peyton Manning thing was happening, about the draft board. So he really explains it. But he constantly talked about how one of his greatest skill set is he outworks everyone else. He does more tape. He really outworks everyone else. He's not trying to count on some magical potion that everybody thinks he has. He just watches a lot of tape and he really outworks everyone. He And one of the things that I really liked, if you guys get to watch that interview, is he said he's not necessarily trying to focus on building our team so that we can have a great team. He's building the focus more so on the 3 other teams we have to beat in the division. So he's very heavy in wanting to beat what the Chargers, the Chiefs, and what Denver's going to do. And it's almost like secondary on everything else. But first things first, let's beat the division. So it really, Captain Jack, and this is just me talking, but I wouldn't be surprised if next year we can go 6-0 against the division. What do you think about that, Captain Jack? Because the only reason why I'm saying that is because when Antonio Pierce came in, he beat the Broncos, he beat the Chargers, destroyed the Chargers, really, beat the Broncos, right? But I think on both games, like we had Kansas in the ropes. Cap Jack, we had him in the ropes in the first game, and we just kind of messed up, right? It's almost like, oh, we're winning every single round, and then we got then we got hit and got knocked down, and it was terrible. But the second game was a true reflection of what we can do against these guys. Mm-hmm. And now you got these players aren't afraid. So I mean, I might just be happy thinking, but I actually believe we can go 6-0. I'm not saying that we're gonna all of a sudden be like more than a 9-7 team, but I do believe we could be 6-0 in the division. What do you think, Captain Jack?
Well, that would be it. And by the way, Sharif really wants to come on.
Okay, all right. So Sharif, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna let Captain Jack go here, and then we're only gonna do probably another maybe 10 minutes after Captain Jack, because we're running a pretty tight schedule. But I'm gonna let you on. But I want to hear Captain Jack's thoughts on what I just said, which is I might be wishful thinking, but I truly believe that we can go 6-0. We can beat the Broncos twice, we can beat the Chargers twice, we can beat the Chiefs twice next year. That's my belief, and I believe that because new coach for the Chargers, which is going to be kind of weird going in there with so much turmoil from the last coach, and then what the hell are the Broncos doing? I don't even know what they're going to do with Russell Wilson. I don't know anything that they're doing. So, but anyways, go ahead, Captain Jack.
Yeah, can the Raiders be perfect in the division? Sure. And I can win the lottery. Anything is possible. So, but I would say the likelihood is, I would say that you definitely need to be 4-2 or better in the division in order to take the West. That's if you keep splitting with everybody, that hurts. Okay. But again, AP was what, 4-1 in the division. And that's what you need to have, either 3-1 or 4-1. But the point is that he has a winning record against the AFC West. He beat the Chiefs, he lost to the Chiefs, he beat the Broncos, and he beat the Chargers. So what, 3-1? He has a winning record, and that's a good thing. He needs to make sure that he transfixes on that to make sure it happens. Can it come to fruition? Sure. But I tell you what, the Chargers are not going to be pushovers, and the Donkeys are not going to be pushovers anymore. And we know what the Chiefs are and have been in the past. But is it possible that this is the last hurrah of the Chiefs and that this is their final statement? It all depends upon what happens this Sunday as to what happens next year. Because if the Chiefs go out on a high note, it's very, very likely that a lot of the guys bail. It's very, very likely that Kelsey retires. It's very likely that Andy Reid retires. It's very likely that, we have a new coach with the Chiefs. And even Kermit the Frog might not be there too much longer because he's already talking about what his afterlife is. We don't know. But it's going to be a lot of changes, and don't expect to see Chris Jones there if they win, because then he's going to go to the highest bidder. And I don't think that the Chiefs would be the highest bidder if they're coming off a Super Bowl win. I just don't think that it's going to happen because they barely did it last year. But as far as what can happen, is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? Remains to be seen. But as of right now, I want to see it. I'm that guy from Missouri. Show me. I want to see it. And for, like I said, I want you to get into practice of doing the cut and paste, Angelo. Go ahead and grab it and throw it up there to the comment section, and maybe we'll get
yes sir,
Sharif on
Let's
here.
see. Let me see. Hold on. Are we talking about that one, Captain Jack?
No. The cut and paste of the come into the studio.
Yeah. No, I was about to do that, Captain Jack. I was already ready to go. I was waiting for you to finish what your thought, and I like your take. I like that a lot, actually, because I agree with you on a lot of it. I honestly just believe that when I saw what I saw, I know how hard it is to go from 0 to 60, and I think the Chargers getting Harbaugh in. People really forget that Harbaugh wasn't like some savior, like in the sense of he did things right away. It took a while. It took a while for Harbaugh to get into Michigan and get things going. The 49ers had some pieces, but they were able to kind of get some stuff. And they were kind of, when Harbaugh came into the Niners, I'm not trying to hate, but yes, he did win on those 4 years. But like that first year, that West Division wasn't exactly the greatest either, kind of. So, so it'll take a while, which is why I believe we can beat the Chargers twice. The Broncos, I think, are just a mess, man. I mean, maybe Sean Payton is some great coach that I don't know about, and I'm not discrediting what he's doing with the defense. But, man, their salary cap situation is screwed, guys. And it's hard to come out of salary cap hell. And the Chargers are in salary cap hell. So that already made me believe, all right, we at least got a head start there. And keep in mind, Telesco knows everything about the Chargers. He just came from there. So we beat the Chargers twice. I think we could beat Denver twice. So now it comes down to Kansas City. And when you were saying we might go 4-2, I think that when the Chiefs play
minimum, they need to go 4-2. 5-1 would be better. 6-0 would be fantastic.
Yeah, and that's why I think they can go 6-0, because the Chiefs, they're playing in the Super Bowl again. They're tired, man. It happens to every championship team. They're so tired. So I think we get to punch them in the mouth in the first game of the season. And once those good feelings start, and AP said it, once you got that good feelings going, if you beat the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Chiefs in their first games, I can't see them losing in the second games. It may be harder, but I just don't see it. So, but anyhow, with very short time, Sharif, I'm gonna let you in. All right, we're gonna try to keep it under 10 minutes. All right, my man. So let me get you in here. Here you go. Here's the link. Go ahead and jump on in. And when you're on, I'll put you on, and then you can say everything you want to say. CGA Patriot. That's very true. Mahomes and Herbert's contracts are going to be a hindrance. See, like, I'm right there with you, GA Patriot. Thank you. I feel like you do a lot of this research yourself, and you're looking at over the cap to see how hard it is. Like, we're in a great spot because of Tom Delaney. Tom Delaney's our salary cap guy, and we're not in salary cap hell. Right now we have 36 million, but with correct moves, we can get that bad boy up to 66, close to 70 million. So I'm roughing it at about 60 million, but 60 million in cap space with all 50. Those free agents. Wow.
Go never hit the high mark. Always as the very conservative, politically too, but as the very conservative guys on what is good and bad. The glass is always half empty with me. Go 50, and if it's a bonus, that's great. But shoot for 50 and then go from there. And go ahead. And Sharif is one thing I'm going to let you know about Angelo, because I know it. When Sharif comes on, he gives you a mic check so that and he knows that his mic is working and on. So that's just part of the routine there, Shipmate. So go ahead.
All right. So here we go. Black Thanos.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Am I good?
Yep, you're good. Go ahead, my man.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Quite a fact-filled show. You said quite a bit. I love the segment between you and the brother Bishop. That's what prompted me to call. I get the impression, bro, that you have a preferred type of quarterback, which is fine and your prerogative. But I think the confusion a lot of people make when they say we don't need a running quarterback, we're not talking about Michael Vick or J.C. Watt. We're talking about someone who can extend plays. It's funny how Josh Allen never gets saddled with that label, and he hasn't won anything, just like Lamar Jackson hasn't won anything. You cited Steve Young, and I believe he's number 3 all time in rushing for quarterback. But people forget that part. There was a man once upon a time called Roger Staubach who Elway and Steve Young idolized, who they also called Roger the Dodger during the time we played real defense, who could run his Navy ass off when the pocket collapsed or he needed to get a first down. So much so he suffered over 20 concussions throughout his career. Even Brock Purdy, who will be playing Sunday, Baker Mayfield, I watched him in the playoffs and get that team to the playoffs because he had the instinct, the pocket awareness, and the feet. You're playing a game with defensive ends weighing 270 to run damn near 4.7 in the 40. The days of Jim Hart and Bob Greasy 50 years ago is long dead. We're not saying we want a running quarterback instead of a passing quarterback. It's bonus. When it's just like a woman who can cook and cook in the bedroom, if you know what I mean. You get both. You know what I mean? So
I hear you, Black.
So that's the distinction. I like Aiden, and I believe isn't he turning 26 this year?
Yeah,
so he's older.
Right. Which, by the
he's
way,
not he's not a conventional type of rookie.
Yeah. So Black Thanos, I'm going to let you go some more. So let me just address a couple of things before he gets lost. And then I'm going to let you go some more on this. It's not that I have a preferred quarterback. Because again, the problem with this is we didn't even know which way the ship was steering, and now that we do know which way the ship is steering, we have Luke Getsy under contract, we have Antonio Pierce under contract. So based on just those two things, Patrick Graham, right? We have Marvin Lewis. So based on all of these changes, I'm just saying that's the head of the snake. So based on that, what does Antonio Pierce like to do? He likes to punch people in the mouth, right? He likes defense, which means right now, if we go with the same exact defense we had last year and not add pieces, we're going to be screwed. And that's just the truth. And if we give up too much draft capital just to go get a Jaden Daniels or whoever, it's not the same, man. You got to really watch a lot of these draft tapes and see what type of talent you're giving up. Because if I'm just going to do draft math, you're going to ask me to give up, let's say, 5 possibly long-time starting players that can make a difference for one guy that might be as good as Lamar Jackson. It's a bad trade. It's a bad trade. Now, when you're asking me, well, what type of quarterback I like quarterbacks who win. That's what I like. Those are the types. I like those types, right?
Right.
So when you talk about a Brock Purdy and you said, well, yeah, and he was able to be mobile and run and help. Okay, we know that Brock Purdy isn't a running quarterback. And in fact, I would probably compare Brock Purdy to Steve Young in the sense that Brock Purdy throws the way Steve Young throws, except in those days, Steve Young was being kind of pushed as white lightning, right? Which is kind of his thing. He did it at the USFL. He did it at BYU. So it was kind of like a thing. But if Steve Young played quarterback now, he'd be more like Brock Purdy. He's better. Obviously, he's better. I'm just saying, like he's proven to be better. But stylistically wise, what we saw out of Steve Young is he didn't have to run to win the Super Bowl. What made him finally start to get it is he was sitting down, he was throwing the ball, he was hitting targets.
I'm with you on that, but when he had to, he can do it.
Exactly.
No one plays quarterback because they want to run first, ideally. But when that pocket is closing or you got 8 yards in front of you, run. Used to scream at the old guy for that. And ever since the old guy got hurt, his whole vantage point of playing the game was different. And he took a lot of unnecessary sacks, made a lot of bad throws, but that's the past. So, and keep in mind, Lamar didn't lose 2 weeks ago because he ran, because he didn't run.
Okay.
He wanted to prove a point.
Here's the thing.
So all these purists
Black Thanos,
hold them to a standard.
What you said. It's because the game plan wasn't about running and they didn't utilize it. You're absolutely right, 100%. I'm not even going to argue it. But here's my point: they didn't have to trade up to go get Lamar. Lamar fell all the way to 31 or 32. He
32.
fell, man.
He fell to
32.
32.
Right.
And they
31 teams passed up on this guy. So I'll tell you what.
They traded up to get him, so they had an extra year of him.
Oh, so he dropped,
contract.
right? Okay, so
Right.
I'm gonna make a deal with you, Black Thanos. If Jaden Daniels drops to 10, sure, make the deal. But if we got to go up to 4 to go get him, are you kidding me? Screw it, man. Because there's good game changers right now. Alate Latu right now for a team like pick the team. Could be the Vikings, who's about to lose the deal. Hunter, right? They're picking 11. If they pick up Alate Latu, right? That's another. So that's what I'm saying. Is let's see how the draft board plays.
It's a wild card, my friend. But the biggest threat is complacency. And we watch everyone else, like when the Bengals decided to move on from Dalton, who was a decent quarterback, into the playoffs, I believe, 4 times. Light went off. We need to improve. The Chiefs beat us with Alex Smith continuously. Our light went off. Let's bring in the second rounder, give him the reins. The rest is history. So if you just get complacent, like you can never improve at the most critical position, you're slitting your own wrist. And then wonder why you're only making lateral movement instead of going forward. We've done that for 9 years where we were afraid to challenge the last guy until McDaniels played the villain and cut him like a piece of salami. So I don't want to be complacent. And we don't know how many draft picks it may or may not cost. But hell, look at all the picks we lost in the last 5 years. Leatherwood was a number 1. Where's he at?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Cleveland Farrell. I could go on and on about guys who didn't pan out. We didn't already lost about 6 first-round picks.
Yeah.
What the hell?
And Black Thanos, again, we're short on time, so jump on the show, and I'm going to show you actual stats of everyone who gave up the farm to, and in fact, between now and the next show, like next week, when I do it on the following Sunday, Black Thanos, I want you to do a homework for me and try to find me one trade that went up to go get a quarterback, and they gave up the farm. So everybody, when I asked them this question, they go, "Well, what about Patrick Mahomes?" And I said, if you're willing to take me giving you 2 firsts and a third to go get Jaden Daniels, I'm in. But I'm not giving up 3 number 1s and 2 number 2s just to go get a guy. Like, I'm not doing that. So like I said, you will not find, and you in the history of the NFL, you will not find one team that gave up the farm to go get the guy they wanted, and no matter how good the quarterback ended up being, it never worked out. It never worked out because when you give up too much capital for your team, at the end of the day, it hurts you long term. So, but again, I can't. We're running out of time now. So I promise you, Black Thanos, I'll give you a longer floor, man, on that Sunday show.
Okay, my friend, and I will bring a strong counter argument for every point you make.
That's awesome.
I can appreciate your familiarity.
Yeah, no.
All right, my friend.
Thank you. I really
competition is always better in camp. I agree with you. We don't have to give away a busload. It has to be a happy medium where we just say, well, we're just going to stick to this guy. No, you never get ahead that way.
Exactly.
Never.
And again, like you have me on
no
record.
Guts, no glory.
You have me on record saying right now, I will move up to number 13 to go get Jaden Daniels at 1, 2, and 3, whichever one he's available at, for 2 number 1s and 1 number 3. That was the Patrick Mahomes trade. So if they're willing to go ahead and do that, I'm in. But that Patrick Mahomes trade, they went up from 27 to 10. And by the way, Buffalo, who was supposed to be scouting everybody, was the dumb ones who gave that up. So to this day, you know why they're not? Do you know why they still haven't made it? Because they gave up the number 10 pick when they could have gotten Patrick Mahomes. So that was their mistake too. So yeah. But thanks again, Black Thanos, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming in. I was gonna ask you, Captain Jack, because I know we're running super short on time, but I saw you you were pumping up who was it? Somebody was trying to get in. but I don't
That
know.
was
If
it was Black Thanos. It was
oh,
three.
okay, all right. I thought there was someone else trying to get in.
Yeah, well,
And-
see, Black Thanos has his alter ego. His real name is Sharisa Allah Khan,
right.
but he goes by Black Thanos.
Okay, all right. I thought there was someone else that was like, "Hey, let me in," or
No, no. Tonight it was only Black Thanos.
Okay, all right, got it.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So yeah, no, but when we have more time, Black Thanos, like the draft.
Sure, my friend. And I'm rooting for the Chiefs to lose, not for the Winers to win, but the Chiefs to lose. Important distinction.
Yeah,
Thank you,
no,
my
I'm
friend.
right there with you. I'm right there with you. I'm believe me, I do not want to have to watch those guys.
And I'm rooting for them to lose badly.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, I'm on record, Cap.
Yeah,
I
no,
expect a blowout.
Yeah, Thanos said it.
San Francisco is the perfect team for the Chiefs. They're the perfect team to do it. With their run game, with their linebackers, with their weapons. Yeah, I can see that.
Absolutely.
All right, gentlemen, we will talk soon.
Hey, thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. You have a good night.
Appreciate it. All right.
There you go, everybody. Black Thanos. I love having him on too. And by the way, guys, if you're watching this or if you're watching this on the replay, man, totally open to a very fair, very not a shouting match, but a very fair discussion. As long as again, just remember, man, if you're coming in here with me, you got to bring some facts, baby, because I'm heavy on it. Like I'll literally pull it up every trade of everyone who gave up the farm to get a first round or their guy in the first, second, or third. Never works. Never worked, Captain Jack. So, but no. Before we close it up, Captain Jack, getting ready to close this bad boy up. It was a really fun show. Man, it was really cool too. GA Patriots, supporting the channel. Absolutely love that. Anna Diaz came on, and then we were getting a little too long because I thought we were only going to do about an hour. And then we kept going. So then Anna Diaz came back, right? I love it.
Yep.
I love, we got Raider Rick 808, throwing it out. Matt's been here the whole time. GA, like I said, you got some great peeps, Captain Jack. So next time you guys will get to hear me, we'll be on the Wild Wild West. Once that's all set up, right, Captain Jack? I'm going to be sitting in for Captain Jack with on the Wild Wild West show on Wednesdays. What time is it, Captain Jack, on Wednesdays?
It's 7:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Wild Wild West show. As of right now, Angelo will be the Raiders representative because again, I'm on hiatus. I'm not here. You don't see me. You don't see me for at least 3 weeks, and then after that we will see. But it could be 3 weeks. Well, it is going to be 3 weeks. And I might be able to come in and say hello on a show, but really I'm not going to be there for the 3 weeks. And then after the 3 weeks, come like the second week of March, I will have a better idea of where I will be. But it's still looking like I'm going to be on hiatus for a while. So again, the Angelo and AJ will be running the ship for me. There'll be a temporary change of command. And AJ knows about that more than being the sailor stuff. And by the way, if you were in pregame, I was cussing his ass out. I was cussing his ass out. And yeah, it's not good form to cuss out a bishop, but he deserved every bit of it. He deserved every bit of what I was giving to him. But it's, but we love each other as salty sailor brothers. But again, I want to thank all the people that were here. Like I said, No, Matt, there is a story. That is a Raiders hat. And that is a Raiders hat in green. And if you have not heard the story, Matt, Angelo will tell his story of why his Raiders hat, which is a Raiders hat, is green. There is a story behind it. It's a positive story, but Angelo supports his Raiders. And there's not going to not be a Raiders hat that he will wear, but he will be in green. And I am fully supportive of that, Matt. And Matt is one of the best contributors as far as him being here for years and years. There's a lot of them, like I said, Jack
Matt, I really appreciate it.
And Rick.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a story behind that, Matt.
Yeah, no,
Please
Matt, I really
allow
appreciate
Angelo to say that.
yeah, Matt, I really appreciate all the comments. And yeah, go back to the old Captain Jack shows when I was guesting on. If you look up the first one, I kind of explain it. But you could go to, for anyone who wants to follow me, go to @ReyesBoxing on Instagram. That's my name, REYES Boxing, and you'll kind of check it out. But green, the short story is, it is the color, it's the national color, it's the global color actually for liver transplantation. But the story behind how I even got a green Raiders hat is actually a pretty cool one, like Captain Jack said. So I'll cover that when I see you guys again 2 Sundays from now. Everybody have a happy Super Bowl Sunday. Captain Jack, again, I want to thank you so much for allowing me to steer the ship a little bit, while but I know you're going to be popping in and out. And I'm really looking. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the shows with Bishop because it's great. It's definitely we have a different energy, which is awesome. And I love the Bishop. Happy birthday to this young man, and thank you again to everyone. So please, for all the other followers of Captain Jack that didn't get to watch this show today, just pass it on to them. Let them know that it was a great show, and thank you to everybody again. And Captain Jack, I'm gonna practice the close, so hopefully I get it right. Until next time.
One thing before you go, like, and share it up. Like it, share it, and let folks know that it's on. Just because I'm not there doesn't mean that this is going to be a fantastic view for you. Like it and share it up, please, because you're missing out if you don't. Go ahead, Angelo. You take the rest.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. We will see you again. It'll be Thursday, 6 o'clock. Bishop will man the ship. Sundays. Oh, I'm sorry. Thursdays at 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern. Sundays, I'll be back 6 Pacific, 9 Easterns. If you guys have some time, watch the Wild Wild West show. I believe that's 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. And until next time, I don't do it as well, but everyone.
Say like you got a pair. Yarr! There you go.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.